Welcome into the Sharp Sports YouTube podcast. My name is Andrew Sharp. We'll be talking everything Denver sports and beyond. Please like and subscribe if you are a sports fan like me. Let's do this.
Welcome into the Sharp Sports Podcast. My name is Andrew Sharp. Well, it's hard to believe, but the NBA season for the Denver Nuggets is upon us. Denver Nuggets are looking forward to a 25-26 season with a ton of off-season moves to help bolster their chances to win another NBA title for the world's best basketball player, Nikola Jokic. Denver Nuggets made a ton of moves in free agency, which I discussed a couple months ago on this channel, and I'll put a link in the description there. You can go to my reaction directly after it happened as the Nuggets brought in some key players, Cam Johnson being the chief among them, Jonas Valanciunas as well, to help bolster the Nuggets' chances at a run for the NBA title. So this is a Nuggets preview pod, and I'm going to touch on a whole bunch of stuff to look forward to for the Denver Nuggets upcoming season this year. Speaking of shifting from last season to this season, Nuggets bringing in Bruce Brown and Tim Hardaway Jr. Back into the fold really allows the Nuggets to actually, hopefully, have a bench this year. Last year was really just way too much wear and tear on the starters, which really, I think, bled into the postseason. Granted, the Nuggets were basically the best team that played the eventual Oklahoma City Thunder to a standstill, essentially, Game 7. They gave the Thunder the best shot of anyone in the playoffs that tried to dethrone them. And so this time around, luckily for the Nuggets, they do not have to rely so heavily on their starters, which is just a huge thing. The other part of it is that former head coach Michael Malone did not like some of the young players that the general manager Tim Connelly had brought in. So there was a constant friction between the coaching staff and the general manager as far as player development, player minutes, all of that thing. So with this new coach in Dave Adelman, one of the things I know for sure that he's going to work on is actually having a developed bench, some sort of actual rotation where it's really just in the playoffs, it's okay to play your starter guys lots of minutes. But it's an 82-game regular season. You have to have some sort of semblance of a second unit in order to play on those back-to-backs, which are less now than they used to be. It's still the rigors of an 82-game season. You cannot go through an 82-game season with no bench and then expect any of your starters and regular rotation players to be ready to go once prime time, playoff time hits. Well, perhaps the most pressing and most recent news to come out of Nuggets Nation at the moment is the Denver Nuggets and Christian Braun announced that they have reached a 5-year contract extension, 5 years for $125 million. Monday afternoon, Braun is now under contract with the Nuggets through the end of the 2031 season. He's a player that the Nuggets drafted out of the University of Kansas. He is a rising star, a rising player in that organization. Not only a collegiate champion with Kansas, but also now an NBA champion with the Denver Nuggets in 2023. And basically, Braun said that he's very happy to be here. Didn't really want to go anywhere else. I don't think that he truly was looking for a way out of Denver. I think he realizes that basically he's a fan favorite. Playing with Nikola Jokic has certainly bolstered his value, and he's smart enough to see that. He seems like a smart guy. Definitely hard worker, unquestionably, and really one of the guys that if he takes another jump up this season in terms of his scoring ability and everything else after having an excellent NBA preseason, which it's hard to take too much from NBA preseason games these days, but he is a core piece. He will be here. He's not going anywhere. And so it gives the Nuggets more stability, which is essentially what they're looking for. as the Nuggets championship window with Nikola Jokic is open right now. It's not open tomorrow or yesterday. It's right now. And something that the previous general manager, who's no longer here, Calvin Booth, who didn't seem to be able to make any trades or any deals, and sort of wrung his hands and said, "Oh, we just can't make. We're just kind of stuck." And all of a sudden, ever since he departed from the Nuggets have been doing nothing but making deals, trades, and extensions since his departure, which begs the question why he had the job so long in the first place. But that's a longer topic. But now Nuggets have the core four of Jokic, Murray, Gordon, Braun, who you can argue whether he is or isn't. I agree that he is because of his age and because of his position, he is a core piece. And now all four are signed through the 2028 season. And really, now it's just time to get to work. And I have little to no doubt that Christian Braun is ready to get to work again in trying to get the Nuggets another NBA title. And of course, it's those end of the season games that really came back to bite the Denver Nuggets. I was fortunate to attend one of those double overtime losses to the Minnesota Timberwolves late in the season last year, which pushed the Nuggets down to the 4 spot for the Western Conference playoffs, which was bad for 2 reasons. One was you only had a home court advantage in one round. And secondly, there's a very good chance this year, again, that the Oklahoma City, the defending NBA champions, will be the 1 seed. So unfortunately, the Nuggets had to play the best team in the NBA in the second round. And you really would ideally like to play those guys in the Western Conference Finals. Nuggets finished just below the Lakers with identical records, but it came down to conference record, which the Lakers had a better Western Conference finish. Both teams finished 50 and 32. Rockets were number 2 at 52 and 30, and the Thunder ran away with it with a 68-win regular season team, capped off with an NBA title. So one of the best single seasons for any NBA team in NBA history. For the Nuggets, going back and looking at where they finished, of course, the year that they won the title, they were 53 and 29. So only won 3 games more, but it did get them the 1 seed. Now that was a bit of an aberration. That was a kind of a strange year. Some of the traditional powers were down, and the Oklahoma City Thunder, who finished 10th that year at 40 and 42, were sort of the sleeping giant that was coming, but had not yet gotten there, had not yet been developed fully. Still were relying on most of their draft capital to develop. So for the Nuggets, and even going back to the previous season where they managed to finish with the 2 seed at 57 and 25, one behind the Thunder. So if you're talking the difference between winning, say, 50 games and 57 games, that is a big leap in the long rigors of the Western Conference for the Denver Nuggets. But I think it's critical for the Nuggets this year. Mile High, that arena that I've been in, it can get very loud. Home court really can be an advantage come May, and the way you're going to get a top 4, top 2 seed in the Western Conference is depth. Because if you're able to win a few games, steal a few games with, as mentioned, Jonas Valanciunas and some of the other role players that the Denver Nuggets have acquired, Bruce Brown being another one, all of a sudden you're putting yourself in a much, much better position to get a top 3 seed in the Western Conference standings come May. As excited as I was for the Nuggets acquiring a player of Cam Johnson's caliber, the more I've thought about it, the more I've read, the more I've observed and heard people talk about Jonas Valanciunas, and really it's going to be critical because essentially the Denver Nuggets the last 2 years since winning the NBA title have not had a true backup to Nikola Jokic. There's so much discussion of the non-Jokic minutes because essentially the basketball team is sometimes so bad that it's basically non-functional. if Jokic is not on the floor. Also, just really losing any sort of inside presence, and the Nuggets have been struggling to find a true backup for their MVP for a long time now, and kind of have patchworked together with guys who are either over the hill, not very good, or don't really fit within the context of the other players. Jonas Valanciunas really is an upgrade, and I think the more I think about it, it really is probably the best and most pivotal off-season signing the Nuggets had. Because if you're able to even just be functional, be a decent offense, while Jonas Valanciunas is on the floor and Nikola Jokic is taking a much-needed rest so that he is not forced to play 42, 44, 46, 48 minutes a game for the Nuggets for them to be competitive and win, it's just going to really allow you to be able to have Jokic go full speed all the time in the playoffs, which is really where this team is looking to shine. And the other part of it is that don't be fooled. Jonas Valanciunas could be a starter on a handful of other, granted not competitive or bad NBA teams, but he is a starting caliber center in the league who's coming off the bench. And I guarantee you that he is quite happy that his role is defined. He doesn't have to carry the team, but this team will rely on him at various stretches for quality minutes. So he can come in and essentially be the non-Jokic hero for this basketball team, which is a very interesting role because not everything is on his shoulders by any means, but he can still be the hero. He really can. And there was an interview, I'm quoting 1043 The Fans article, after Thursday's practice. This is the previous Thursday in Southern California. Valanciunas spoke to the media and basically said it's a winning culture. No matter what we do, simple drill, 3-on-3, 3-on-0. Everybody's trying to win. That's the culture, and we're going to keep it going. That's why he was brought here, not just to spend some time, but so we have a mission, and that's why we're working, which is great. But yeah, Jonas Valanciunas is just way more of an upgrade than DeAndre Jordan or DeMarcus Cousins, or you could go through all the other big men that the Nuggets have had. This is the best backup center the Nuggets have had in probably a decade. Speaking of records, I want to go back just a little bit because really, in my mind, 2020, even though it was a weird time with the bubble and the pandemic happening, that's truly when the Nuggets core that we're discussing now really started to come together and managed to make the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers, who ended up winning the NBA title. And that year, Nuggets finished 46-27, which was good enough for third in the West. Next season, they managed to win one more game, 47-25, again finishing third in the West Conference. I'm not going to go through all the playoff losses, but that was unfortunately when they got swept by the Western Conference champion Phoenix Suns. Next year, 48-34, finishing sixth. So that was a little weird. Only won one more game and then managed to finish sixth. The West is loaded. The West is rough. So you can have these finishes where you're winning 48 games and finishing sixth in the conference. Not great. Next year was the year they won it all. Finished 53-29, one seed, home court advantage throughout the NBA playoffs, which I think was critical in their run. Next year finished 57-25, finishing second. So actually won more games the following year and did not get a one seed. So again, these win totals can get a little ridiculous depending on the year and whether that actually helps you get a better seed or not. And last year, as we mentioned, finished 50-32, finishing fourth in the NBA Western Conference. So I think with the additions that they had, I think with some of the other teams ahead of them, I really would only put probably the Phoenix, I almost said Phoenix. I would say probably the Oklahoma City Thunder would finish ahead of them. There has been discussion about whether the Kevin Durant-led Houston Rockets could finish second in the Western Conference in wins. But then you're going to talk about the Nuggets. The Nuggets should be right there in terms of finishing in the conference I don't think that the Timberwolves are going to have a top 3 seed. I don't see the Clippers doing that either. The Clippers have managed to be right around 4th or 5th in most years lately, and I really don't think there's any reason that the Nuggets can't get at least a top 3 seed. I think a second seed finish behind the Oklahoma City Thunder would be amazing. Probably going to have to win for the Nuggets closer to 60 games, which this franchise essentially has never done. But I think this is one of the better rosters that the Nuggets have had around their MVP in many years. There are additions, Jonas Valanciunas being the main one that I am excited about. But DaRon Holmes, a rookie who did not play at all last year from the previous draft in a couple years ago, hopefully can contribute. If Christian Braun takes yet another leap in his development, Jamal Murray appears to be motivated and in shape, but that is always a wild card. It's hard to tell where he's at, but we'll know pretty much in a couple weeks in the season exactly where Jamal Murray's at. And the Nuggets, frankly, have a core that has still been as together, as I mentioned earlier, the core of Gordon, Jokic, Murray, and Christian Braun, who have all been together for a long time. The only piece that is different, that is not here anymore, is Michael Porter Jr., who keeps giving interviews about how it's so great to be a Brooklyn Net. I try not to laugh super hard, but it is fairly amusing, as the Brooklyn Nets, quite frankly, are one of the worst performing NBA teams in the last 15 years. And so we'll check in on MPJ at some point in the middle of the season and see how excited he is to be a Brooklyn Net. But it's not about him anymore. It's about this year's Denver Nuggets, who have really, I think the only other question coming into the season as to why they may or may not have an excellent year would either be David Adelman, their new coach, ends up flopping and basically a mirage of what he was in the postseason, which I think is unlikely. Of course, there's always room for major injury front, which is true for every team. But I think the Nuggets have the kind of depth now that can withstand some of that. And as long as the big fella is up and able and playing basketball, the Denver Nuggets will always be a contender with Nikola Jokic. There's not even any question of that at this time. So anyway, a little Nuggets preview for you. I think the Nuggets are in great shape. I'm really looking forward to watching them this season because I think they are predicted by most experts to be very good, but I am hoping that they can take even another leap beyond that and really battle this year. Really, it's championship or bust. It's a open window with the world's best basketball player to win this year. It's not about next year or the next year. This Nuggets season really is championship or bust. I would be disappointed if they do not make at least the Western Conference Finals. That should be the goal for this team. Thanks for joining me. Once again, my name is Andrew Sharp, Sharp Sports YouTube podcast. You can follow me on X as well, same handle. Denver Nuggets, excited to talk some Nuggets basketball this season, and I'll be checking in as we go. It's still Broncos season right now, but the Denver Nuggets, make no mistake, are truly a championship contender in this town, and it's exciting to see, and I can't wait to talk more about it. Thanks a lot.